Hello and welcome to Alta Live. My name is Beth Spotswood. I am Alta's digital editor, and I am so excited to welcome you today to today's Alta Live, where we take a feature from the current issue of the magazine and take it live. We have this Ask a Clerk feature where we ask LA's indie booksellers to kind of answer our questions about what it's like working in a bookstore. And we've decided to expand upon that section of the magazine, what's called chowder on the side of the magazine, with 4 booksellers from some of our favorite indie booksellers in California. And we're going to ask them questions. There will be time for you to ask them your questions. You can do so in the chat or in the Q&A button. And so please use that. Let me just do a brief introduction of our guests. We have Amanda Barrias. She is the book department supervisor at Roman's Bookstore in Pasadena. Lillian Van Cleve is the operations manager at Bookshop West Portal in San Francisco. Karen Finlay owns Alibi Bookshop in Vallejo, and Jeff Resnick is the general manager of Pages, a bookstore in Manhattan Beach. Thank you guys all for joining us. Before we dive in, let me give you my sales pitch for the beautiful Alta Journal. Alta is an award-winning magazine and website focused on California and the West. You can subscribe and get this beautiful magazine in your mailbox 4 times a year for $50. We're $50 annual membership. You get a hat. You get our best bookstores of the California and the West bookstore guide, featuring all of these bookstores. And you get to support the wonderful work we do here at Alta. Also get access to our digital stories. We've added a paywall, so if you want access to all of our archives, all of our stories, join as a member or as a digital member for $3 a month. We've got free events, including the California Book Club, which is the 3rd Thursday of every month, Alta Live, which is right here every Wednesday at 12:30, and all sorts of fun events, including if you are in the LA area this Saturday, from 3 to 5, we will be at Pages with Jeff with some author readings, all in celebration of Indie Bookstore Day, which is this Saturday. Please support your indie booksellers. Wherever you are located around the world, this Saturday is the day to go to your independent bookstore. Every day is the day to go to your independent bookstore. But Saturday is the holiday of indie bookstores, and that's the day you want to support Roman's, Bookshop West Portal, Alibi Bookshop, Pages, anywhere else that's around you. So with that, again, hi, Tracy Calafilla. I want to kind of dive right in. First of all, hi, everyone. Here's the order we're going to go in with our questions. Amanda, hi, Amanda, where are you zooming in from today?
I am zooming in from my home in Glendora, California.
Glendora. All right, Lillian, where are you zooming in from today?
We're in San Francisco, California.
All right. Karen, you are in
our clutter room in Vallejo, California.
And Jeff, where are you?
Lovely El Segundo, California.
El Segundo. All right. I am in Novato, California, and we're going to dive right in, starting with you. All right. So this question is geographically related. So depending upon where you are, what LA related, or in Karen and Lillian's case, San Francisco or Bay Area related book do people most often buy from you? Amanda, we'll start with you.
Oh, that's always a doozy. There's so many great books about LA in general. But I would have to say probably one of the best ones that we have. Make me think so hard right now.
Yes.
One that that actually does really well for us is the Roy Choi LA Sun. That's a staple for us as well. And I think food culture in LA, his book is like the epitome of it. It's just a combination of different flavors being pulled together, and we definitely see that a lot in our cuisine. So I think it's really a good one that a lot of people really buy.
Got it. All right, Lillian, what Bay Area or San Francisco book is most popular?
There's one that is far and away our consistent bestseller and 2 equally distinctive runner-ups. The first one is, without a doubt, The Spirits of San Francisco by Gary Kamiya, illustrated by Paul Madonna. They are both local heroes. Paul Madonna also did 3 other illustrated novels, which are really great. But Spirits of San Francisco does these little beautiful illustrations of neighborhoods of San Francisco. I'm born and raised here, and it taught me things I never knew. Followed closely by Stairways of San Francisco, I believe is the title. There are all these hidden stairways all over San Francisco that you have to go and find, and they've got murals painted along them, and it shows people around. And then most recently, KQED's podcast host of Bay Curious, Olivia Allen Price, published a book by the same name, Bay Curious. And it has little tidbits and stories from her podcast. And it's just the cutest little gift item, but with equally juicy tidbits about the Bay Area. So those 3 definitely always on our sales list every day.
Love that. All right, Karen.
So, we do well with the little Arcadia Press books that are local to Vallejo. Vallejo is so filled with history that, people want to find out more. And we have a lot of people who are moving here and a lot of people who are born and raised here. And the Vallejo history is pretty extraordinary. Another one we do really well with is the Julia Morgan biography from Chronicle Book. We do really well with Julia Morgan because we Julia Morgan here. But far and away, our bestseller, because I hand sell it, so much so that Random House is out of it and has to go in a reprint and jacked up the price. I'm sorry, everybody, but it's Private Life by Jane Smiley. It actually takes place at the turn of the 20th century on Mare Island and in Vallejo. So I think we're the only book club when, the character turned right on Marin Street. We're like, we know exactly where that is. And it's a beautiful book. It's Jane Smiley. It is such an honor that we have a book set in our town written by a Pulitzer Prize winner, and also with Jennifer Egan, Manhattan Beach. Love it. So that's mine.
All right, Jeff, hit us.
Yeah, so Manhattan Beach is a surf town, and so much so that we have a surf/ocean section. One of my favorite recs for that section is Barbarian Days by William Finnegan. And it's one of those books that, it works so well for us because it's a surfing book. The author grew up in Los Angeles as well as Hawaii, but it resonates with people who want to get a surfing book who are surfers, but also with people who aren't surfers, and it gives them more insight into why people love to surf, which is a big aspect of Manhattan Beach. So easy go-to for me, easy sell.
Love that. That was a CBC pick. All right, next question. Can you share, let's see. Oh, here we go. Let's dive right in. Amanda, we'll start with you. What is the most unusual request you have had as a bookseller?
This is great because this is the one that actually was featured in the magazine, which was slightly awkward for me, but kind of fun. It was a woman that, so the romance section is my section in the bookstore. So usually when people come in asking for romance questions, a lot of my coworkers default them to me because that's the section I'm really passionate about. And a woman had come in and she was looking for books for her daughter that had a slow burn. And then I had to sit with this woman and talk about books that were a little steamy and going over all of the making sure like, okay, this has got a good slow burn and this is what's happening, and the conversation just going through. And so when we were done, she had a nice stack of about 6 different books and that hopefully met her requirements for her daughter. But it was just an interesting interaction to sit and have the discussion about the content of these books for her.
Spicy. All right, Lillian, your most unusual
Oh
request.
God, you might have to come back to me. I don't feel like my barometer for unusual is super accurate right now. There's so many. I have to think about this for a second.
Okay, we'll jump to Karen.
Okay. Well, we get unusual requests that people are like, can you on Google for me and see what, such and such place closes? And I'm like, well, bless your heart. I like that they think that we're the library sometimes. I take it as a compliment. But one of my favorites, we have a regular gentleman, and it's not what he asks for that's so unusual, but he really loves crime and Bigfoot books and Bermuda Triangle books, but he always asks for it as, where's the section about things that go bump in the night? And you're like, oh my gosh, I didn't have enough on our shelf header to put that in there, but let's see what we can do for you. And he never thing, but he's always looking for things that go bump in the night. Okay.
I love
Fair enough.
Yeah. All right, Jeff, weirdest request.
I don't know that it's super weird as much as it was challenging. And it was customer calls up and says, Jeff, I know that you've had this particular author for events a couple times, and it's a big name author, and super excited every time we've done an event with this author. And they're like, Jeff, really want you to get this author to come to our personal book club. And I was like, you mean you want us to try to get them back to the store? He's like, no, I really want you to get the author to come to our house for our book. And I'm like, I'm gonna have to get back to you. Let me see what I can do to support you on that one. I can't guarantee that ask.
Whoa.
A for effort.
Yeah, that's bold.
Yeah.
All right, Lillian, have you found?
Okay, I thought of one. This is from back when I first started, hadn't been in customer service very long, so I didn't know how to do a very beautiful out like Jeff did for that customer. And I get a phone call, and I swear this phone call was 45 minutes to an hour, but this older lady was very sweet, and she tutors somebody, this man that she knows, and she was teaching him German. And so she needed 2 copies of a book, one for him and one for her, so that they could each read it individually. But she didn't have a title of a book. She wanted me to tell her what books she could get 2 copies of in German. But I don't speak German. So like there's search filters you can put on, German language, these books, you see what's available. But they don't always have in parentheses the English name. So I'm sitting here spelling German books. And I'm like, wait, there has to be a better way to do this. Are you looking for something in fiction? Are you looking for like a language title? What like level are we looking for? She goes, I need 2. Oh, okay. Okay. And
Quantity.
this went on for about 45 minutes before I finally learned the hard way how to do what Jeff did, to promise what I could promise and only do what I could do.
I hope she found her book.
She did. She did. We got her some German books. And the customer that she tutors is actually a regular customer of the store. Little did we know.
Oh, all right. Okay, this is one of my favorite questions, but I'm a choosy person that, likes this sort of stuff. Amanda, we'll start with you. What is your favorite celebrity encounter you've had at the bookstore?
Oh, yeah. Bill Nye.
Oh, the science guy?
Yeah. It was amazing. Where we are, LA, you see a lot of celebrities, don't get me wrong, but Bill Nye, the encounter was just so in and of itself funny that made it even better. So I got a phone call, some guy's asking, it's like, hey, I'm looking for Bill Nye's new book. Do you have a copy of it? And I said, well, yes, I do have some copies. Would you like me to put one on hold for you? He's like, well, can you actually put on hold 10 of them for me? And I was like, yeah, I can put 10 on hold for you. What's your name? He's like, oh, it's me, Bill Nye. I need them for this. This is right around Christmas time. And I was like, oh, sure, I can put them on hold for you. And so then he came in to pick them up, and he had his bow tie on, and he was just so pleasant and so nice. I got him to personalize a book for me. And I got to ring him out. So I walked him to the registers. I cut in front of a bunch of people. As you know, Christmas lines are very long, but I just went to the register we didn't have somebody at, and I got to ring up Bill Nye, and everybody was walking by like, that's Bill Nye. So that's been my favorite one, and he's just as nice in person as he seems to be. So I was very happy about that.
Love that. All right, Lillian, celebs.
I don't know if this is as relevant in San Francisco. I know they exist here, but they don't always wander into our store. Or like, correction, they might wander into our store and I'm just have my head in the sand and have no idea who they are. But I think it's a fight between 2 different offsite events we did through separate organizations that customers just called us for and said, hey, come sell books at this thing for us. And the first one was a big Politico donor lady who just buys a lot of books with us. And we knew she was vaguely political, but I didn't realize exactly how political until State of Terror by Louise Penny and Hillary Clinton came out. And Hillary Clinton and Uma Abedin were on tour together doing both and State of Terror. I think I was 3 months on the job. And we went down to this place by the pier with these, our sweating with our huge boxes of books to unload them and get them ready and put them in these rooms because they were going to be there and they were going to sign all the books. So we were going to meet them before the event. And I wasn't in the room with Hillary Clinton, but she had walked by me and she said she liked my necklace, which is forever going to like live in my memory. That necklace is now special and I'm never giving it up. But I got to sit in a room with Uma Abedin for like half an hour while she was signing books. And there is no lady cooler than that. She was so down to earth. She was so willing to talk about her story. But more than that, she also just kept asking questions about everybody else, which is always just humbling and remarkable and just a treat to see another human act like another human, especially when it's someone you admire so much.
Love that. All right, Karen, who's swinging by Alibi?
Well, not a lot of people really swing by Alibi in Vallejo. We did have Jennifer Egan. She was wearing a mask, and but I recognized her anyway, and I think I scared her because I was such a fangirl, but it was great. But when I used to work in downtown San Francisco, I worked at Doubleday Bookshop, which was the storied, small chain that got bought by a big corporation, the whole You Got Mail thing. So we used to have a lot of people, a lot of famous people who would come in. We had Tony Bennett used to come in, and one time he sang "I Left My Heart in San Francisco" to me and my sister, and oh my God, it was great. And lots of authors. But one of our regular customers was
Oh no, Karen, you froze. You were about to name drop. And
Eddie
you
Fisher,
froze.
probably not 1950s.
Wait,
Eddie Fisher.
Karen, you
Oh,
cut
did I
out for a
freeze? Am I
second.
back?
You're back.
Okay. Am I back now? Okay, good. Okay. Have you ever heard of Eddie Fisher?
Yes, Debbie Reynolds' ex-husband.
Exactly. So a lot of people, even by then, hadn't heard of Eddie Fisher. But in the 1950s, he was the big, scandalous movie star, musician. He was married to Debbie Reynolds, and he left Debbie Reynolds and his small daughter, Carrie Fisher, for Elizabeth Taylor, who was the most beautiful woman in the world at that time. So Eddie Fisher lived in San Francisco, and he used to come in to Doubleday all the time, and we'd say, "Hello, Mr. Fisher." So one day I was waiting on him, and I said, "How are you doing, Mr. Fisher?" And he said, "Oh, I'm all right. Carrie's coming to visit this week." And I said, "Oh, I'm reading her new book. She's so smart. She's so funny. I just love her so much. She's just so talented." And he said, "Yeah, she really is. I don't know where she gets it from, because she sure didn't get it from me." And he kind of trudged off. And everyone's all, "What did you say to Eddie Fisher?" And I'm like, I don't know. I didn't say anything to Eddie Fisher. So I called my mom, and I'm like, "Mom, I just bummed out Eddie Fisher." And she said, without missing a beat, "Karen, Eddie Fisher was married to Elizabeth Taylor. You did not bum out Eddie Fisher." Da, da, da. So that was my favorite, Thanks, Mom. Whatever. I guess I'm not on the same level as, Elizabeth Taylor.
It's some unresolved. He has some
Yeah.
unresolved
Yeah.
issues around that.
That's okay.
I know. All right, good one. Jeff, who's popping into Pages?
So we have an office in the back of the store, and sometimes I'm back there just doing some computer work, the administrative stuff. So I'm just kind of back there typing away, but I'll leave the door open so that I can hear what's going on in the store. That way, if they need any help, I can easily pop out there. And as I'm doing some work, I hear this voice, and I kind of look up from the computer. I'm like, I know that voice. And I keep listening, and I'm like, that's Tom Hanks. There's no way that that's not Tom Hanks. So I walk up front, and lo and behold, there's Tom Hanks in the store. I mean, he's got such a recognizable voice. So of course I ask him if he needs any help. And I'm here to tell you, he is as nice as you would expect. He's super well read. He is just a pleasure to talk to. I could go on and on about how great he is. So best celebrity encounter in this by far.
That's what we want to hear, that Tom Hanks is a nice guy. That's just what
So
America
nice.
needs. All right. Have you noticed, and again, I'll ask Amanda, we'll start with you, but have you noticed any weird customs traditions around books that shoppers seem to have? Have you encountered anyone who has any sort of, interesting book related traditions or customs in a bookstore? Quirky
Yeah.
things they always do. Amanda.
I think customers have their spots, and I think that's, when they walk in, they know where they want to go, whether it be to mysteries, whether it goes to, our science aisle. I think people kind of you can tell when someone just walks in and they're just beelining exactly where they're going. And so I think that's kind of a nice thing to see for them, is just to be able to, like, they just know what they want. They're going to come in, they're going to get what they want. And so but yeah, I think that's kind of it's something that they definitely do. We also have our new tables up front, and our indie next pick. There's a couple of people there. I was like, I just always come in to the indie next list pick because I know I'm going to get a good book from here. So they've got their spots where they know they want to start off with.
Okay. Lillian, what do you think?
I guess I have two. The first, and this always comes up at the register. I don't quite know why this topic comes up, but the people who dog ear their books and the people that don't have very strong feelings about it. As do I, but the customer is always right, except for when they dog ear their books.
Monsters.
So that's a tradition that definitely comes up and is discussed a lot at our bookstore. Everybody has very vehement feelings, whether they're on staff or whether they're a customer, which is always just sort of a fun little diatribe to get into. The other thing is we have a lot of families in the area, and I've seen this happen a couple of times where somebody will come in to buy a baby gift, but instead of just getting a baby gift, they're looking to like help a kid build a library. So they're looking to give something for the kid like when they're really, really small that they can just like manhandle, something that they can play with later on, and then something for when they're older. And then they're like, oh, well, this was my favorite book. And I'm like, that kid's not gonna read that book for 8 years. They're like, I don't care, I'm gonna keep it for them, or I'm gonna gift it to the parent, and they can read it when they're older. So that like really thinking about that next lifetime of reading that's coming for somebody, and trying to find a place for that from the bookstore is just really sweet. I like seeing that.
Karen, tradition?
Yeah, I was gonna say I love this trend that people aren't giving baby, they're giving baby books, for baby showers, and I love that. And then I always try to do that, say pick out a favorite book you had when you were little, because that means something. But I think my favorite thing is that this couple came in once and they were on one of their first dates, and they read an article or something, or they were doing the scavenger hunt to add some spice into their relationship. And one of the things was go to your local bookstore, find a cookbook that you've never used before, and cook a meal together and see what happens. So, this nice young couple came in, you could tell that they hadn't been dating long, and you could tell that they did not know how to cook. So I said, go with Betty Crocker. I mean, just it's easy, do it. And they keep coming in and buying cookbooks. So
Mhm.
They're
that's
still
pretty great.
together.
So
Yeah.
cute.
So that's kind of sweet.
Oh, that's
I
very
know
sweet.
they've graduated beyond, spicing up their relationship and Betty Crocker. So it's pretty
Yeah, maybe
pretty
they
great.
could go to Amanda's section next.
Yeah.
Mhm.
All right, Jeff, what about you?
I have to say, Karen, that's a trend I need to start in Pages. But I don't know that this is a custom that happens in Pages, but it's amazing how often I see it happen. And that is, when people come in the store, we always try to greet them and then find out if they need any help with anything, maybe direct them towards a genre in particular. But so often when we do that, hi, how are you? Welcome to Pages. They'll look at us, they'll put their hands up, and they're like, oh, oh. And that's kind of like, don't talk to me right now. And they'll end up saying, I'm in my happy place now. I can smell the paper. I can feel the books. Just let me walk around for a few minutes and then you can help me. And it's crazy how often it happens that you would almost seem like a custom for the store. And it's nice.
It's like waiting to exhale.
Yeah,
Bookstores.
yeah.
All right, I think we have time for one or two more. What is a great underrated book about California? And remember, these are Alta readers, so they really know their California books. Underrated book about California, Amanda.
Why am I blanking on the title? And
You have some experts here.
I know it was actually a book that came out from Worthy Press, which tends to do a little bit more religious, inspirational books. But it's a guy that basically he walked the Camino Real, and which is where all of the California missions are on. So he started at one end and he hiked his way all the way across, visiting um, each mission along the way. And it's just kind of one of those. It was those quiet books. It wasn't like some it wasn't like a crazy A-list celebrity that was, doing this. It was just a guy that thought it was right after his mother had passed. And I hate that I'm blanking on the title, of course, but it was just really wonderful, it resonated with me specifically too because I actually enjoy visiting the missions myself. And so it's just this really quiet book I have it in my in our travel section, because I just thought it was a really just wonderful story about this journey that he went on walking the El Camino Real. And like I said, it just was like when it came out, very quiet, didn't see a lot about it.
Who
But it was
published
just
it, Amanda?
it was from Worthy Press through Hachette, distributed through Hachette. Like
Camino Real de
waves.
California, from ancient to.
No, it was like something with like waves or water in the title.
Oh,
I'll Google
okay.
while you guys are doing it. I'll come up.
Okay, all right, okay. All right, Lillian, an underrated book set in California.
Underrated for Alta readers is hard. The one that I would say for any other audience would be, and if you're an Alta reader, you ought to know about this book, and if you don't, then step up your game, is Daniel Gumbiner, and his book Fire in the Canyon. It made me cry. And the only reason I would even bother to think of it as remotely underrated is because we had a truly tragic event that I scheduled during the APEC visiting San Francisco, and nobody showed up, and I was heartbroken for myself and for Daniel and for it was just terrible. But that book is so good. Blaze has definitely done interviews with him, and I'm sure they're all over Alta, so not necessarily underrated for Alta readers, but deserving of credit. I would also flag attention to Dean King's Guardians of the Valley, which talks about the history of Yosemite and John Muir's role in Yosemite and how it came to be and what saved it from not being, which is just a really interesting, both personal and natural history of a big, huge part of the state. And that's just really, really excellent. And then micro niche, I'm sorry, I can never just give one. Portal by actually John King. I'm on a King kick, I guess. John King wrote this book about called Portal, which is the history of San Francisco technically, but it's all through the lens of this very specific, well-known building, the Ferry Building, which is down on the piers in San Francisco, and it's super fascinating. And that one is excellent as well.
Love John King. All right, Karen.
Well, I already mentioned Private Life by Jane Smiley. And, luckily we have so many California books that are not, underrated. We've got Joan Didion. We just finished a whole year of Joan Didion book clubs. But the one, I have to lead a seminar in August at a weekender, and I picked Day of the Locust, Daniel West, which is not at all an underrated book, but it has fallen out of favor, because it is older, but it is absolutely fantastic. And it's only like 160 pages long, and it's all the story of, Hollywood. And I'm excited to lead this book discussion on it. And finally, my last one is, oh my God, it just fell out of my head like yours, Francis Dinkelspiel's about the wine industry and fire.
Oh, that one's really good.
Yes.
What's it called?
Oh my God.
I know exactly what you're talking about. It's really good.
Tangled Vines. It is a story of
Tangled
California.
Vines.
It's the story of the wine industry, but it's so much a story of California, Northern and Southern. And it's extraordinary. And she came to one of our Zoom book clubs during the pandemic and was so gracious and so interesting. So recommend it to all your customers. And all of
I changed mine to Karen's. That was an even better answer. That one's really good.
That's a good one.
I see Northern California.
Jeff, what's your pick?
I think I'm going to attack this one from a slightly different angle. And it was before I lived in Los Angeles, I lived in San Francisco. And I was terribly excited to move there. And I remember when I did, a really good friend of mine gave me the book Stairway Walks in San Francisco. And I thought that it was an amazing book to get to know a great city. I mean, San Francisco, especially compared to Los Angeles, is a small, tight city with all these great little neighborhoods. And the book introduced me to all these great little places, and it helped me get to know the city. And then when I moved down to Los Angeles, one of the first books I bought at Pages was Stairway Walks in Los Angeles. And it did the same thing. It's just in Los Angeles, it couldn't be more different from San Francisco. It's big, it's sprawling, and there's all these dividing lines. Like if you live south of the airport to go north of the airport, there's got to be a reason. Or if you live west of the 405 to go east of the 405, there's got to be a reason. But this book, you'll read about a stairway walk in another part of the city, and you're like, I'm going to go check that out. So not only do you then go check out this cool stairway walk, but then you end up walking around that neighborhood and you get to know more of the city. So I think both of those books are great ways to get to know two really cool cities in California and therefore get to know California.
Okay. Amanda, do you have a title for us?
I do. It's Where the Waves Turn Back by Tyson Motzenbacher, and I'm sure I butchered his name.
Lisa says, I hope Beth sends us all of these titles. Beth will help her fabulous coworker, Jessica Blau, figure out all of these titles. Jessica's, I'm sure, feverishly writing these down as we watch. So shout out to associate editor and person who is trying to gather all of these titles very quickly, Jessica. Folks, one last question for each of you. We got, will the questions and answers be available? Well, you don't have to take notes, Carmela. We're going to send you an email with links to everything we talked about today, how to support all of these independent bookstores and booksellers. So check your email later today, and we'll post this interview on altaonline.com later this afternoon. Last question for you. We got a little bit of feedback. Shout out to Jess. Is clerk not a cool word to call a bookseller? That we had kind of initially titled this thing Ask a Clerk. And then it heard that like clerk, maybe not so much. And I realized that each of you are, leaders in your stores, brilliant literary experts. Is clerk not an okay word to use? Please educate us at Alta. What's your preferred, someone who works in the bookstore?
I think it's probably store specific. In our store, I work in the book department, so I'm a bookseller, but then we have clerks, like we have our stationery clerks and our pen clerks. So we use both in our store.
All right. Anyone else have an opinion?
I don't have an
Where should we come
objection
from?
to the word. It just wouldn't have occurred to me because it's not in our vocab at the store. I mean, you said it and I knew what it meant. I knew you were talking about the salespeople at bookstores.
Right.
We do sort of lean into bookseller, not for any, intentional reason, just that's the habit at the store. But I think clerk is accessible as well, though maybe bookseller is more specific.
All right.
Yeah, I think bookseller is good because clerk you could work at any store. It's kind of, just a all umbrella type of thing. So bookseller I think is good because that's what we do. We sell books and dreams. Just
Like it can.
Maybe to throw one last perspective, I tend to lean towards bookseller as well. And maybe that's because in my previous life, if you were clerking, then all you were kind of doing was going through the motions, just in essence, ringing someone up rather than really bookselling, rather than really trying to help connect people with just the right book for them.
You weren't selling dreams,
Exactly. You're clear.
right.
That's right.
Clerks
Dream
don't sell
sellers.
dreams.
just shoes.
All right. Thank you for that. Last question, and we're gonna end with Jeff on this for Alta. What does your bookstore have planned for Indie Bookstore Day, which is again this Saturday, April 27th? What's going on at Romans or Book Soup, Amanda?
We're gonna have a lot of the exclusive Indie Day merch. We're gonna have a full staff on hand to assist and help everybody. I know Libro is doing a great giveaway. We have a golden ticket, which I'm sure all the other stores do too. We all got a golden ticket to see, whoever finds that golden ticket gets a year of free books from Libro FM. If you don't know Libro FM, look it up. Way better than Audible, in my personal opinion. So just come on down. Lots of fun and lots of things happening.
What's going on at Bookshop West Portal, Lillian?
Let's see if I can catch it all. At 11 a.m., we have our celebrity authors visiting for a meet and greet starring Dave Edgars. If you have not yet gotten a copy of The Eyes and the Impossible, you are missing out. You should do so immediately. It won the Newbery Medal this year. And he's bringing along a bunch of friends, including Daniel Gumbiner, as well as Michael Chabon and a number of other California celebrities that I'm sure my booksellers would yell at me that I can't remember who they are right now, but there's a long list.
Yes.
Sorry?
Daniel Handler is one of them.
Very possibly. I know he's definitely stopping at some of the other Barry bookstores as well. But we're also
Oh, Lillian, you froze. She's going to tell us about llamas. There's going to be llamas there. All right. Karen, while we wait for Lillian to come. Oh, Lillian, are you back?
Oh, I kept talking. I didn't realize I'd stopped. Where'd you lose me?
You froze after celebrity guests.
Celebrity guest. I talked about Dave Edgar's. Did we hear that?
Yes.
Okay.
Eggers.
So celebrity guest. In addition, if you make a purchase on Independent Bookstore Day, you get a blind date with a book, which is a wrapped book. You don't know what's in it. There's just a mystery description on the front. You get to pick your favorite one. We are also, shout out to Libro FM, hiding a golden ticket in our store. So win your 12 free audiobooks. We're having a Richard Scarry themed coloring activities for the kids outside in the morning as well. And then at the end of the day, or end of the day, sort of, at 1 p.m., we have llamas from Sonora Valley coming to the store. They'll be outside in our courtyard, so you get the chance to pet some llamas. And that's the highs and lows of Independent Bookstore Day at Bookshop West Portal. So we hope to see you there.
All right. What is going down, Karen, at Alibi in Vallejo?
Not llamas. I wish we had llamas. We have stuffed llamas. And you can go up the street and visit llamas. But we are having, we got the Libro FM Golden. I want everybody to, break up with Audible and do Libro FM. They're so wonderful. Listening to Book of Love right now. So good. We have a cake from a local downtown baker, Tony's Cakes. My husband is going to be DJing real vinyl records in the afternoon, so you can shop and listen to really cool music. We're going to be having 2 raffles, so you spend over $50, you get automatically entered to win a raffle. We have the cool exclusives, including Blackwing pencils, but also what's exciting is that the same is Independent Bookstore Day. We are having our Vallejo's first annual Earth Days, DAZE event with all sorts of food trucks and robotics and steampunk kind of cool things and DJs and all sorts of great stuff happening downtown. So downtown Vallejo is going to be really vibrant and really fun. And we don't have llama or celebrities, but you can come see me. I'm
You're a celebrity now, Karen.
See it. I'm a celebrity now, you guys. So come see me. I'm as nice as Tom Hanks. I am a Vallejo celebrity. I'm one of the only people who have blue, not the only one with blue hair.
All right. And Jeff, what is happening at Pages?
Yeah, we're real excited about Independent Bookstore Day. We're going to start the day off with a local author doing story time for kids. Then we've got 3 Alta contributor authors coming by at 3 o'clock. We're super excited about that. We're going to have snacks all day. We've got lots of great swag to give out. We also have those new Blackwing Independent Bookstore Day pencils, which I'm super excited about. And then we've got some really cool raffle prizes. Anyone who comes in the store that day will be entered in. But then any purchases, you get additional entries as well. It's going to be super fun. We've got a great crew on that day, and we're super excited to enjoy Independent Bookstore Day with all of our customers.
Indie Booksellers, you guys are awesome. Thank you so much for stopping what you were doing to talk to us. You're so great at this. I'm so grateful to all of you. Everyone at all 4 of your stores. You guys do incredible work, and you're so kind to Alta. So on behalf of all of us at Alta and all of us who love books, thank you so very much.
Thank you, Beth.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
All right, folks, join us next week, Alta Live. We will be right back here, of course, and we will be talking about Kelseyville, renaming Kelseyville. We've done a newsletter about it anyway, and we're going to send you links to all of that, and that's Wednesday, May 1st, 12:30 here at Alta Live. With that, support your indie bookseller, and take care, everyone. See you next week.
Have a great day.